So, how's everyone doing? Everyone's happy? Welcome to the Future of Cryptocurrency panel. We have Percival here, as well as Powell from Kraken, Percival from My Crypto Startups, and Alice Towns, who's a lawyer and crypto enthusiast, with us today. You know what? Enough about me. Why don't you guys take the stage and give a short intro about yourself?
Hello. My name is Percival. I'm a venture partner at 500 Startups. My focus is on Bitcoin. I've made about 8 Bitcoin investments, 5 of which that are public. Deployed about $750,000, looking to deploy a few more million over the year. We have an accelerator. We do seed stage investments, and we have an accelerator that's based out of Mountain View, where 5 of our Bitcoin companies are. Some of them are floating around here. If you guys want to raise your hand, if you want to talk to them or give them more money, please do. They're right over there. And I also do marketing for blockchain.info, the world's biggest wallet and Bitcoin service. My background is mostly in consumer marketing, so you'll hear me talk about a lot of annoying marketing things. In a past life, I was vice president of MySpace, a social network that I'm sure you all still use every single day to this day. Go MySpace!
I'm Powell, CEO and co-founder of Kraken. We're a digital asset exchange. We trade Bitcoin, Litecoin, Namecoin, Ripple, DogeCoin, and Ven, and a couple national currencies. Prior to my life in crypto, I was running a company selling digital currencies for online games, virtual items, World of Warcraft, Diablo 2, EverQuest, all that stuff.
Hi, I'm a lawyer. My background is in tax, and I do a lot of regulation as well in the Bitcoin space and with other cryptocurrency businesses. Essentially, I just got started when I realized that tax law questions related to cryptocurrencies are so much more interesting and challenging and fundamental than your average tax law question for any business that we see around today. So I got hooked by intellectual questions, and the rest is history.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so let's start by asking, generally, we all know that there are a lot of critics of cryptocurrencies, and digital currencies as a whole, and about legalization. And I know it's a pretty difficult topic, but why do you think there is such opposition to digital currencies and cryptocurrencies?
You know, I think now it's hard to understand. I mean, we're kind of all freaks and geeks, so we get it. But detractors are a good thing. Anything that got big had detractors in the beginning. And if you look back to the internet, they said a lot of the same things. Oh my God, drugs, who's going to protect the children? They had a lot of the same sort of things that we heard. Facebook sucks, no one will ever use it, and no one cares about this, it got big. Pokemon, that's dumb, no one's ever going to buy those stupid things. So there's always detractors around new innovative technologies. So actually a lot of investors love it when we see that, because it proves that if there's a passionate group enough, we know that they'll sort of, over time, outrank the detractors. So to me, detractors is a good thing. You know, it's better that somebody's, yelling and fighting over it than not caring.
Disruption is better than...
Disruption's good, although that word's a little cliche, but yeah, it's true. Disruption is not bad.
Yeah, just echo what Sean said. You'd rather have people hating you than not caring at all, right? And I think it is like anything in the beginning. With Bitcoin especially, it's very difficult to understand. And so a lot of people just have these misconceptions that they believe things about Bitcoin that aren't true, or just they don't understand how it could possibly work, or their thinking is just so ingrained in what they've known for their whole lives and the monetary system that we have that it's just hard for them to imagine something different. But yeah, I think it's just natural, and we'll get over it as it becomes more mainstream.
So my response to that lately has been altcoins need to distinguish themselves. The media and the regulators all need to hear that altcoins are not made up of the same communities as Bitcoin, and they have a different culture. And that's really important for DogeCoin in particular, because charitable acts are not done by drug dealers. Like, You know, like the fact that this is a gift-giving, donating currency really prevents the regulators from having a rationale for coming down hard and treating this as a bad thing. So yes, I think that there's like a bad aura around it, but I also think we can really break that up if we start talking more about all currencies in the media.
Well, speaking of DogeCoin and the great community, where do you think it'll rise or fall in the long term or short term? Long term being 3 years?
Specifically Dogecoin?
Yeah, let's keep it to Dogecoin, and then we can branch onwards.
The success of Dogecoin, I think, is dependent on whether it does become inflationary. I'm really excited about Dogecoin in particular because for something to be better off spent than saved, it has to be decreasing in value. And I think that is a possibility for Dogecoin, which will increase its use. And I think that'll increase popularity. But value, I don't know. Popularity, yes.
Yeah, I think with Dogecoin in particular, it's going to depend on how fast the community can grow around it, whether it's keeping up with mining, and the mining is halving very quickly compared to Bitcoin. But even when the mining is all done, there's still this continuous inflation going on with Dogecoin, which makes it kind of unique among the alts. So it's interesting. It'll be really interesting to see. I think that probably Dogecoin will increase in value because I find it. I mean, this would be amazing, but I find it hard to imagine the growth will continue at the level that it has been. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has legs, cute little brown legs, and I think if you think about Reddit and Dig, and a lot of people here obviously are Reddit users, and Reddit and Dig is a good example of the tortoise and the hare. So Dig raised a shit ton of venture capital. They were forced to grow, redesign themselves 5 times, do all kinds of crazy shit, put ads all over the place, and Reddit just sort of sat idly by and grew steadily over time. So if you would have asked me a few months ago, I'd probably say Dogecoin, no, probably not. But I think it's proven it has some longevity, and it has the right audience to sort of sustain itself. You know, whereas other things, like if you raise too much money or too much hype, especially in Silicon Valley, you tend to die. And so Bitcoin has a lot of hype around it, so that could be a liability to it. Whereas Dogecoin has just sort of steadily, you know, pumped its way up. And so no, I think that there's longevity here. I think the community has shown that already.
So you're saying basically that longevity goes with actual adoption, mass consumption, and like popularity of the coins. I mean, do you see, between the three of you, where do you see digital currencies, Dogecoin, Bitcoin, you know, which ones, number one? And number two, where do you see them in like 5 years? Or where do you see them in 10 years? And what would happen if they disappeared and became non-valued or kind of regulated to such a state that they cannot continue anymore?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to disappear. It's not something you can ever stop, and due to the technology and the nature of the community. So in 5 years, my view is 1 billion people will be using digital currency. So between now and then, how do we get to 1 billion users? Right now, adoption's low. Let's say that there's under 1 million people using digital currency. That's really low worldwide too. And so now it's going to be focused on consumer adoption and growth. But in 5 years, my view is 1 billion people will be using it. I think what's important is the technology goes away. And I always talk about how, like, when you swipe your credit card, like 10 things happen in the background, all these bells and whistles and servers and bank accounts and all connected, but you don't know that. And that's the critical to acceptance of credit cards and why they've been so entrenched. They're so simple and easy to use. So with all cryptocurrencies, if the technology can move away and the consumer can then approach it, it has a future.
I think it's inevitable, like Sean says, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. I think in 5 years, whether it's Bitcoin or something else, we're going to have some form of cryptocurrency that's going to be used, or maybe, as Andrea suggests, we'll have hundreds of thousands of cryptocurrencies anyways, but something, we'll be using crypto. It'll be a paradigm shift. People will forget about the technology behind it. It'll be simple, grandma will use it. I don't know if that's going to happen in 5 years. I would have guessed that we'd be a lot further along now than we were if we've come. Progress has been a little slower than I expected, but I think I'm just maybe overly optimistic. Maybe I give the average guy too much credit for being able to see and adapt to new technology. But I think in 5 years, for sure, we'll still be using crypto and getting more and more towards just making it like a global thing. It'll be more and more of our transactions.
So I'm actually also on your side, and I think it's really, really hard to kill something once it's gotten to this level. I think there is a possibility that a cryptocurrency can die, and here's the scenario. As I was saying, with the community around Dogecoin protecting it from regulators, if you do find a currency that, or if one of the existing currencies has a critical mass of criminal activity being conducted in that currency, I think that the government is powerful enough to basically stop it in its tracks. We know how much data the NSA has. You know, we can just picture what could happen. I think that critical mass is probably close to 50%, so that's a really impossible thing. I think it's really hard to imagine that actually happening, but I think it is possible for a cryptocurrency to die, quote unquote.
Well, speaking of a cryptocurrency being possibly meeting its death, what do you think would attribute that to happen? Like, what would make a cryptocurrency just have to become obsolete or just kind of lose favor? Is it regulation? Is it a decline in popularity? What is it?
So as far as I know, mining is the only necessary sustaining life force, and it's really hard for a community to shrink to the point where mining is no longer profitable. So I think in terms of the actual economics of it, it's not going to die, but what I picture, Americans generally are law abiding. I know this is like a crazy concept sometimes, but we do want to file our taxes and be good people and have good jobs and you know, and live happily in the community. So I do think that there's a possibility the government could create such a negative association with a currency and actually, you know, criminalize and prosecute the use of a currency, and that's what I'm imagining when I'm talking about a death of a currency. I'm not thinking of an internal death.
Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that even if the United States government does outlaw currency, still have the entire rest of the world where this currency is going to continue to grow. And I think it would be a mistake for a single country to isolate itself financially from the rest of the world, from what's probably the largest transfer of wealth in history. I mean, it could happen, it could kill it in the United States. Like obviously, if the US government said, like, no merchant can accept Bitcoin, if you accept Bitcoin, you're in prison, that would be a huge problem in the United States. But I think you'd still see it as a store of value, even if that did happen. You would see it continue to be used in the rest of the world, and the US would increasingly become isolationist. Apart from that, I think that mining can kill coins. I mean, we've seen you know, what happened with Aurora coin, which was attacked by miners, and we've seen other projects just fail because their developers disappeared and the protocols are no longer maintained. So I think those kinds of things, like there's got to be some financial incentive there for people to keep developing, and if it doesn't look like the coin's taking off, then it seems like Andrea said, like a lot of coins are just pumping ducks. The developers appear, they put it out there, and then they sell, and then they're just gone because the currency's not gaining enough value for them to put any time into it. So I think the new coins are very risky. I think DogeCoin, Namecoin, Ripple, Bitcoin, obviously, like they've got a strong developer base behind them. I think they're relatively safe.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same. I think also greed kills a lot of coins. People just get fucking greedy and they want to make a bunch of money quickly. And so I think that there's a situation with a coin and someone is benefiting from it too much financially, it's doomed from the beginning. I think that's why Doge sort of worked out. Nobody thought they could make money on it. And sure, somebody probably did, and a few of you may have, I don't know, but that wasn't the intention at the beginning. So the intention was a lot more pure. And so I think that's important. And then also the developer community, that's why Bitcoin is so strong. The entrepreneurs and the developers that meet within Bitcoin are definitely some of the smartest developers and entrepreneurs I've ever met. And I've been doing startups for about 10 years. And so we are getting savant level developers and minds coming into this system, you know, whereas they're probably in tech or they are living a half-life at Google building something that nobody cares about. they're actually moving over here. So I think that developer community is important. So think about how you can develop code, build projects, get companies funded, and sort of drive that ecosystem. I think that's very important right now.
I love that. Oh yes, can we just have a little bit more quiet, everybody?
Oh,
it makes it difficult up here for us. We'll all party soon. So speaking about other countries, I think the most interesting thing about digital currencies is the effect it has in being able to give access and power to the unempowered government. Just like the challenges of banking in third world countries. So would you guys like to speak to that and where you see that going in the future as well?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people talk about remittance. There's about $10 billion a year spent on fees. Those are $10 billion that are not going to families. That would make a huge impact. $100 can make a large impact too. I've seen very few startups that are actually tackling that. Everyone wants to talk about it, and it's a great value or a great attribute of what can be used for the coin, but no one's really building on it. So probably more around that. The other thing is every time a country does something stupid or bad, it helps Bitcoin. And countries will be doing stupid, bad things for the inevitable future. And so those things are bad. Remember, Cyprus is what drove that first spike in Bitcoin. We are likely to see more of that in the near future. So yeah, bad news in those cases could be good for Bitcoin. It could drive adoption and push more money into the system.
And I think not even just in terms of remittances, but there are tons of people out there in the United States that just can't get bank accounts, like kids, many people with poor credit histories. And once you're cut off from the banking system, you're largely cut off from commerce. I mean, and your costs of continuing to do commerce and to pay your bills just gets exponentially greater. So, like the poorest people, even in the United States, are paying the greatest portion of banking-related fees or financial services fees. So, I think it'll have a huge impact in that regard. You don't have to ask somebody's permission to send somebody else money. You can't be cut off from the financial rails.
One of the most fascinating things is to watch each country that comes out negatively against cryptocurrencies. And they've always got fucked up local currencies, and there's a direct correlation. People don't trust their local currency. What are they going to do? They're going to look for alternatives. And I think that banning it just raises attention that has no other effect in those places. I mean, Russia's practically an anarchist kingdom, so yeah, I think that is really exciting. It's a really exciting future. And also, they don't have we rationalize our laws, but they're really slowing down these startups in this space. So, and I think some of my fellow panel members can speak to that. It's a burden that you don't have to face in a third world country. So that really helps.
Especially since you're a lawyer and everybody else on the panel, you guys are here for the reason of knowing about legislation and such. And what legislation can you see really helping drive Bitcoin and DogeCoin and altcoins forward, and digital currencies?
Globally? The most important thing is that it gets adopted by a foreign country. The magic trick about that is the IRS has backed itself into a corner at that point and has to accept it as a currency and treat it as a currency. The number of small island countries that you could somehow manipulate into adopting a cryptocurrency as their legal tender is, there's got to be a good handful of them, and it's only a matter of time. So I'm really hoping for that. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
For us in the United States, some sort of federal preemption of the state-by-state money transmitter rules would be huge. And obviously, it's an enormous burden in the U.S. to go and get your state-by-state licenses. Globally, Bitcoin is largely unregulated. So we've seen at Kraken a lot more success outside of the country just because we haven't had these artificial barriers in place to running our business. And as we've seen, the laws haven't even really stopped businesses from operating anyway. So they're not really doing any good, and they haven't been enforced, which is great. But I think that it is stifling innovation. So I think that some sort of moratorium in the United States would be great. Or just to change to some more relaxed laws, like we've seen in Europe.
I mean, I think I would say the recent ruling of IRS and property is probably not the right approach. That's too much overhead both on the consumer and on these young startups to try and understand. You know, at the end of the year, TD Waterhouse sends me a nice statement and it's really easy to kind of send that off to my accountant and be done with it. I can't go to the dozen or 20 companies I've worked with or changed money with or bought something with. I can't remember what I paid for it the next day, so that's adding an unnecessary amount of overhead to it, both for the consumer and the company. So I'm hoping that that changes. The other thing that's important is DC, the government, they love Silicon Valley. They come out here, they have dinners, Obama's kissing the ass of all the big executives because we create jobs here, we create liquidity events, we create new billionaires that in turn make more investments too. This is unique to this situation, unique to our area too. So I don't think they're going to stifle it here. They are going to want regulation and accountability. I think that's okay. But job creation is important. The amount of companies and the size of these companies are relatively small today. But after some liquidity events and then after also some larger companies proving that they can operate here in the States, I think that's also important too. DC will be kissing the ass here. And we need to wrap it up.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap up. We can probably take 2 or 3 questions. Is there any question? Anyone wanting to ask a question? Okay, I'm coming up. Hop. Okay.
Thank you. G'day, my name's Jess. You were talking about the remittance issue and getting adoption in foreign countries and that kind of stuff. I'm clearly from Australia, and transferring my US dollars into Australian dollars is easily achieved via Bitcoin or Dogecoin without the fees, which is great. The thing that I hate the most is the volatility. Can you talk to that much about, say, if I was to convert my US dollars into Bitcoin or Dogecoin today and then tomorrow I lose 10%, that's worse than if I was to use Oz Forex or US Forex to transfer into the foreign currency.
So if you're transferring money, you can pay as much as 10%. So there's some volatility there just in that alone. That's a static number. I think if you look at a company like BitPay, I think they've solved that. Money comes in Bitcoin, it is immediately converted over to the dollar amount, and then that is what is sent to you. So I think we can see that in the remittance market as well too. So that there's there's no concern that the exchange is happening immediately, and so that money, you're getting exactly what you expect on that day. Because I agree, because especially in a foreign country where they're sending $100 to try and help a family, if that moves 20 or 30%, that's a big deal. So I think the immediate conversion to local currency or the ability to move that forward immediately into bills or something else, that's what's critical.
So the underpinning of making this really expensive internationally is the trust between banks. So international transactions are protected by an intermediary called SWIFT. And part of what you're paying for when you pay these huge fees is for the guarantee that the foreign bank and the domestic bank are going to settle their accounts at the end of the day. And obviously with decentralized trust, like cryptocurrencies, that's no longer an issue. So there's a middleman here that is directly circumvented. And that middleman, you don't have to hold the crypto for a long time to take advantage of that middleman. That decentralized trust can occur instantly, and then the rest of the transactions are in fiat.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, actually, unfortunately, it's turning out that we may be running short of time.
Jackson's making a spinning motion.
Jackson, what do you mean?
You can come talk to us
walk
after.
by. Hi, Jackson. There must be my friend.
Somebody can give me a beer if they want. Sorry for this interruption, guys. Our good friend Hood has a message for us.
If anyone knows how to break dance, this would be a good time. This is a good time to get out all of your conversations so you don't have to do it during the next panel.
Suddenly, it's so exciting.
I am sorry that I couldn't be there in person. I was attracted to your community through seeing your generosity. You have good hearts. You help each other. This is a great foundation for DogeCoin. You must remember, what sets you apart from others is not your technology, but your character. your generosity, your culture. This is impossible to duplicate. So, why do I give? Why am I here? I believe all hardworking people deserve to be treated with respect. I believe in capitalism, but not at the expense of others. I believe San Francisco needs to keep its unique and diverse culture. I believe that once you start giving, once you see the impact, even the neediest people can be converted to loving humans. I believe that you can help with this. My DogeCoin and my dollars, they will not change anything, but through art and through word of mouth, through the DogeCoin movement, we can set the tone, change their hearts, and build a better world. Today I leave you with a small gift to help spread the word. Put them on your laptops, or in high traffic areas, or in high traffic areas, or in high traffic areas. That is my ask of you. I'm here to support you, to support others. I am here to convert the greedy, to take from them, to feed and blanket the less fortunate. I wish you all health and happiness.
Alright guys, are you ready to do this? Woo! Woo! You guys ready out there? You all got your big stickers? Let's start out by everybody introducing themselves. Very long, take a long time.
Take a long time. All right, my name is Ben. I'm on the subreddit. I'm Neutrality Mentality. I'm with the DogeCoin Foundation, and I'm done.
Hi, my name is David. I'm CEO of dogetipbot. You can see us on Reddit once or twice. Programmer. Hi.
Hi everybody, I'm Eric Nakagawa. I helped start Doge for Water. I'm here to talk. Let's talk about this.
My name is Landon Merrill. I am the Chief Operations Officer for Moolah.io. We're a virtual services payment. Talking loud. Hi, my name is Landon. I'm from Moolah. We love you.
Yeah, Moolah!
Okay, so, question. You guys are all operating within the Dogecoin community, and some of you have even started your businesses or projects just because of Dogecoin. And I want to know, what has that been like? What has the experience been like starting these things with a community that only came out in December?
Okay, I'll jump in real quick. I started Doge for Water kind of as a joke in the chat room with Jackson. Everybody has been to one of those faucets that gives you free coins. And I thought, hey, let's take the idea of faucet and turn it into something that actually helps somebody's life. And from that point on, we decided to just build this thing and see what happened. And through the help of the community, I'm so amazed that we actually raised all the coins that we did. And previously, the person that was up there, he was the person that tipped probably the largest tweet, or sent the largest tweet. He sent like 14 million Dogecoins to an account that I had set up with a really weak password. So I was scrambling, and it's been a lot of fun. I got to work with Christine Ricks, who also designed the logo. And one thing I'd like to say is, I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this to be a part of the community, and we need more people doing this. I want to inspire all of you guys to start a project and just do it, and we're here to support you. So maybe.
So this might be crazy, but if you're listening to the panel, maybe just come to the front. It seems like the people in the back are going to keep talking, so you might want to just scooch up, and we can just have a little community of the people who want to hear the talks, and it'll be super fun, and maybe someone will tip you.
Also, we have a lot of people watching on live broadcast, and they want to hear the conference too.
Hey, DogeTipbot started about 8 days after Dogecoin was founded, and by the time July rolled around, there was just a whole bunch of people using it. I joined Moolah like around late January, early February. And ever since then, just becoming part of the community has been a great experience. You guys are all super nice, super weird, and super diverse in general. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, so the projects I've done with Dogecoin have been some of the most fun and interesting in my life. My mom was trying to talk to me, and I was like, hold on, Mom, like, I gotta talk to the Jamaican bobsled team, which was pretty cool. You know, this week my mom's been like, you're texting with a NASCAR driver? Like, this is the weirdest thing ever. I was like, yeah, but it's awesome. So I think, you know, Eric and I are going to be working on stuff with the foundation. We're working on making it as transparent as possible. Ultimately, it's not up to us to decide what the priorities of the community are. It's up to everyone in the community. And so we're working on creating more structured ways for people to give us that feedback. So by the 5th of May, which is 5/5, we're going to be putting out some kind of document just to outline where we see the foundation going. And it's going to be a Google Doc. People can weigh in with comments, give us feedback on whether we're heading in the right direction or not. And you know, we just think it's really important to channel what the community wants in terms of its values and not trying to impose those from above.
What was the question?
So, I mean, Moolah specifically was started back in December as well, right? Or January?
Yeah, late December, yeah.
Yeah, so that you guys have seen some crazy growth, and a lot of it has to do because the Dogecoin community is really behind you guys. So how has that experience been, and how do you think you were able to pull that off?
So, okay, on a business perspective, this has been an absolutely awesomely crazy ride. The Dogecoin community kind of got behind us really fast, and we really appreciate the community support. I would like to make a really cool announcement to kind of couple on what the Dogecoin Foundation does. We are opening something that we refer to as Move Fund. Basically, anything that the foundation does not want to support or create a wallet for or get behind, Move Fund is going to be here for you. We will be a safe haven for your charitable contributions and your Doge, and we will make sure that it is safe for you, kind of alleviate some of the pressure and whatnot that's going to be on the foundation. So we're going to be more of a charitable thing. We're officially launching on Monday. So,
That's super exciting. I mean, one very exciting. One pain point is like, I have an idea to go raise money for a charity. Okay, how do I do it?
you just come to us. We'll actually set up a wallet for you, a secure, cool wallet offline. We will be responsible, and we will 100% back all of the donations that are deposited into that wallet. That way the security is there. The community knows that the funds are going to be safe and nobody's going to run off with them.
That's awesome. So, there's a lot of companies out there that want to integrate with Dogecoin. And I think Dogecoin is obviously, like, you have to play to the community. What would your recommendations be on, I'm a new company, I'd like to integrate Dogecoin and I'd like to get the community behind me. How do I do that?
So I think companies that try and get into Dogecoin and don't have a commitment to the values of the community, it's not going to go well. I think we've seen companies like Moolah or like Vault of Satoshi that have really gone out of their way to recognize what's special about Dogecoin, and I think that's going to be remembered. And companies, even if they're larger ones that try to come along in 8 months and say like, oh yeah, like we love Dogecoin, then people are just gonna be like, no you don't. Like, you know, it's not like people didn't know Dogecoin existed. For whatever reason, it didn't speak to their company, you know, and what they were about. And so I think companies that really have something to contribute to the world and really value that spirit of generosity, I think will do well with Dogecoin. And I think companies that are solely out to make money, you know, it's going to be more difficult to get the community on board to the same extent. That's kind of how I look at it.
So I would say for any company that wants to support Dogecoin, it's going to be really hard right now, but go through the trouble because the community is there and they want to spend their Doge. They're mining it still. You know, the halvening is coming. And what is that going to do to the value? I have no idea. But go through the trouble and be a part of the community. and help us grow and find where the problems are. You might find a business idea. You might need to cooperate or collaborate with another company. Yeah, go through it and tell us what the challenges are. Like, I like open discussion. I like seeing that in a post. I want to be able to give you my feedback, and I mean that's the whole point. Be open, tell us the challenges, show that you care, and then we'll reach out and we'll buy your hat from you. Like, I bought this hat here. It's a moon hat. And I'm also dressed as a moon, if you don't know.
Did you buy it with Dogecoin?
I bought it with Dogecoin.
Amazing.
So I bought it with Dogecoin, and like she went out of her way to make this thing a reality. She donated all the stuff she raised to another charity. That's not the point. The point is she tried really hard, and now I'm trying to buy more. You know, like if you help us get stuff like cool things. I bought a bunch of patches. It was so bizarre because actually this is kind of an anecdote. I asked the person that was trading these moon patches. I don't know if you've seen them, right? They're really cool. I was like, hey, how much do they cost? He gave me a number, and then I came back like 2 weeks later after the price had gone through a little bit of volatility, and I was like, what's the price? Same number. Like, the price didn't change in Doge. It was exactly the same thing, and I respected that company, and I bought like 2 patches. You know, so like pricing stuff in Doge. I mean, hey, maybe you buy this for a long term. Like, you can look at this as marketing, so to speak, but you're also building and being a part of a community that is only 75,000 people, at least on Reddit, and it could be anytime. I don't know how big this could be. So start now, really bury it, get through it, and tell us what the challenges are, and somebody in the community will help you. Someone like a Moolah, someone like a DogetipBot. They'll try to figure out ideas to help make it easier. But if businesses aren't talking to us, the community, how do we know how to help you? So.
Yeah, no, I mean, a good example of that is this conference, I think. Because, I don't know if you guys know this, but the idea for this conference started about a week ago. And that was literally follow the coin, like us emailing Jackson Palmer and saying, hey, if we had a party, like, would you go to it? And now a week later, this is what happened, and it's because everybody in the community really helped put it together.
Are we doing it on time, guys? Is 15 minutes up?
Yeah, let's do some questions. Do you guys, who has a question? For anyone up here, raise your hand.
Yeah, just come up. Just come up. We'll get you the mic. We can all be quiet. Let's do a quick Q&A.
Raise your hand if you have a question.
Nobody?
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
So we have a winner.
Hey. So I'm sort of a merchant. I've been working with Doge API. Can you speak into the mic just a little bit? Yeah, Doge API is kind of tricky. It'd be cool if there was some kind of a situation where you could have like a Dogecoin daemon running on your own server and some kind of like interaction with that, some kind of like a PHP layer, some kind of web layer in between those two so that you could...
I don't think they can hear you very well.
Yeah, sorry.
We cannot hear you. I'm really sorry. The Doge API is confusing, and it seems unnecessary to have the third party when you could like run the actual service yourself on the server. So is anything being done to bring about that?
Yeah, so the question is there anything being done to make it easier for merchants to take Doge? There's a service called Doge API, but it can be a little tricky sometimes, so what can we do to address that? Landon?
So I think that Moolah is doing a pretty decent job so far of making it really easy for you as a merchant or you as a business to be able to accept DogeCoin or even Bitcoin, Litecoin. We offer about 18 different currencies right now. You can actually host a store on our servers at no cost to you. We do have an API that's pretty easy to work with as well. If you want to keep your own website, we'll allow you to do that. We do offer instant conversions to fiat for Dogecoin, and I do believe that we are the only ones that are going to facilitate that right now.
And just one more thing is, if it doesn't exist, build it. Like, come on, we're in San Francisco, give me a break. Like, go out there and build it, and stop waiting for companies that provide services. Come on, open source, are you kidding me? You know, we have to have a lot of competition, otherwise it's going to be us next year up here. Come on, really? Want to see me talk again?
I want to see you guys up here. So stand up and start a project and fork someone else's project. That's the whole point of this all. It started as a joke, as a fork, open source. So yeah, that's my answer. My answer is, well, he might be here. I think, why don't you email the guy? Like, it's that easy. Text him. Like, hey, TikTok, like, hey, TikTok. Well, if it's, yeah, whatever. The thing is,
If it's something that you want, ask for it.
yeah, that's all I did. That's how all this happened.
We're all in this together.
We're all grouping here, so.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Start it off.
I guess I'm starting. I'm Josh Mullen. I'm the co-founder and CEO of WOOOO Business Incorporated. We run a little fucking bot called DogeTipbot. You might have heard of it.
I've already introduced myself.
Hi, my name is Adam McKenna. I run Multiple. Some of you may also know me as Devil. You can hear me?
There's no monitors on stage.
So my name is Adam McKenna. I run Multipool. We're a multi-crypto coin mining pool. And as I was just saying, some of you may also know me as the Devil.
Hi, I'm Marshall Hayner, the co-founder of QuickCoin. We make a Bitcoin wallet that's so ridiculously slick and easy to use, you probably won't even know you're in a Bitcoin wallet.
Thank you for keeping that snazzy. All right. Oh, shoot. Okay. So, what motivated an interest in cryptocurrencies and then also Dogecoin in particular at your companies? You know, and where do you guys see that evolving?
Well, obviously, it's in our name. We're a bot that lets you tip Dogecoins. We got our start. I was actually a Litecoin miner before getting into Dogecoin. Really, where we saw it taking off was people were actually using it. So, Dogecoin is being used to tip, so that's where we're using it. That's what we're doing.
I started my pool back in April of 2013, and back then there weren't quite as many altcoins, but I did have the idea to, I was personally getting tired of switching my miners back and forth between Litecoin and Feathercoin and all those other alts that were up back then, so I decided, what if I created a pool that switched to the most profitable coin, so that's what I did. As far as Dogecoin, I think I created the Dogecoin pool about maybe 3 or 4 days after Doge was created, since it was just getting so huge. I probably would have been involved from the beginning if I had been on Reddit, which I was a lot in the years before I made Multipool, but if I hadn't gotten off Reddit, I probably would not have made Multipool, so it's kind of a catch-22.
I think actually the entire cryptocurrency community is taking over Reddit.
So our mission statement with QuickCoin is to make cryptocurrency easy, make it acceptable for people to use. And the Dogecoin community is just this amazing community that comes together, and they're really excited about Bitcoin. It's so easy to use, or Dogecoin, it's so easy to use. Cryptocurrency shouldn't be scary, it shouldn't be this scary thing. And so when we saw Dogecoin explode on Reddit, we saw this huge community coming behind it, and we saw the Doge for Water campaign with Eric, and all this amazing stuff. It just jived with us so well. We really like what the Dogecoin community does, and our goals are aligned, and we want it to be easy for people to use, and that's we love Dogecoin.
Yeah, so Moolah kind of got started with Dogecoin. We saw this absolutely awesome community on Reddit, and we noticed that there weren't really any businesses kind of getting behind it. You know, we have BitPay for Bitcoin, Litecoin's got their backers, but you know, nobody really got behind Dogecoin as far as merchant adoption. So, you know, we kind of stepped up and we got our start there, and now we're opening ourselves up to a multitude of different coins, you know, kind of offering them the same services, and you know, we're basically wanting worldwide adoption for digital currency, but Dogecoin will always be our home.
So we all know that community and charity is a really big part of Dogecoin, and so I wanted to know what is it that how has the adopting DogeCoin changed how you do business personally as well as a company. And in one word, you have to choose one word. What word does DogeCoin bring to mind for you?
Move.
Wow.
Okay, so
I'd say life-changing if that counts as one word.
life-changing is great.
Wow. Oh, we were I'm sorry. Amazing.
Josh. Dion was the word.
Oh, okay. So adopting DogeCoin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why did you adopt it, and what does it? How does it change the business that you are running, and how does it change you as a person?
I think if we had picked any other coin to tip with, it wouldn't have worked. DogeCoin, I've been told this before, one of the many successes of DogeCoin is because of my bot, or of our bot. And we don't want to change that. In fact, there's a reason we keep ourselves 100% free. We want everyone on the fucking planet to use DogeCoin, and we want everyone to have a wallet. We want to make it as simple and as easy for you to get Dogecoins as it is for you to throw change at someone. If I was sitting up here throwing quarters, it would be super easy. That's exactly what we need to do.
So, as far as multi-pool, we have one of the largest Doge mining pools. This side of We've been one of the largest Doge mining pools since the beginning, and I hope that lots of the Doge that was mined in my pool can use to tip people with your...
Quiet! Quiet! Hey, everybody! Please, I'm trying to listen! Quiet! You're still loud!
I think there is a little bit of a misconception. People throw around the term multiple a lot and how we're evil. I just want to let everyone know that we actually have more hash dedicated on Doge and have since the beginning than we've ever had on the switching port on my pool. And we never did any of the bad behavior that some of the other switching pools have done. I owe a lot to Doge, and I was really happy to have this opportunity to give something back to the community sponsoring this conference. So I think Bitcoin has a really big PR problem. You know, you see all these crazy things in the news story, and that's what the media likes to run with. They like to run with a sensational story, and it seems like every other week there's a sensational Bitcoin story that's almost like bad news. It's scary. It scares the average person away. But I think Jackson put it best: who's afraid of a fucking dog on a coin? Not me. So that's why we really like it at Bitcoin. We think it's not intimidating. It's easy to get into. It's not scary, and we just like this aspect of just keeping it light, keeping it fun, keeping it easy. And you know, you go into Reddit/r/Dogecoin and tell them, I don't have any Doge. What's a Dogecoin? Watch what happens. All right. That's what we love about Dogecoin. We love the sense of community, and we think that cryptocurrency as a whole needs to be tighter. And I just love the energy behind Dogecoin. We need to bring this into this world. All the different coins, all the people involved in this space need to adopt this energy and look to Dogecoin to how to do that.
Alright, well, let's, thank you very much. And then, we got room for like one, maybe two really, really good questions for these great fellows on the stage. Does anyone have one? No, you just want to throw cash at us? Okay, great. We'll go on to the next panel.
So, guys, everybody raise your hand if you can hear me. Woo! That's not everybody, come on.
Can you hear us? Raise your hand.
Okay, guys, this conference and this party would not have happened if any of these people hadn't helped out. It wouldn't have happened if you guys hadn't come. It wouldn't have happened if we didn't have WOOOO and everybody else, the sponsors. This is amazing, and we're so excited that it was a success.
And thank you for bearing with us. We're going to have great events to come, of course, for DogeCon. Bitcoin and everyone,